The future of frozen is here. The new Cosmic Culotta at Dunkin'. Far out flavors that are out of this world. Cosmic Cotton Candy and Cosmic Pineapple, both layered with cool blue raspberry. Like a galaxy in your cup. Every sip is an adventure. Now, try any small Culotta for $2. Keep the adventure going with the new Comet Candy Donut. It's a vanilla frosted donut sprinkled with cotton candy flavored popping candies for a fun take on a classic flavor. Dunkin's new Cosmic Culotta flavors and Comet Candy Donut are worth the trip no matter how far. The universe runs on Dunkin'. Plus applicable taxes. Participation may vary. Limited time offer.
I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and this is episode 1100 of No BS Job Search Advice Radio. Welcome. And today's show on Friday, it's a little longer a show, but I think it's a good one, about 9 things to do to avoid career disaster. So it's not a job search show, but it does deal with a professional issue. And I do hope you find it helpful. I hope you give it 5 stars in Apple Music. Send me a message. Tell me how much you enjoyed it through LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IN/The Big Game Hunter. Mention that you heard this show, watched this show, whichever it is, because I love knowing that I've helped some folks. And if you're interested in my coaching, you message me there on LinkedIn. And I'd be happy to get back in touch. We'll figure out a time to speak and get to work. Oh, by the way, this weekend, take my classes on Skillshare. There are a number of classes that I have there. You don't have to be a member to get access to my classes there or all the other classes that are there. But what you can decide to do is if you become a premium member, use the link in the show notes. They'll give you 2 free months of membership before they start charging you. If you do this through the site itself, it's only 1 free month. Now, let's get going. You know, I worked as a recruiter for many, many years and eventually moved into executive job search coaching. And, you know, I had a window on the economy for the longest time, and I thought I would share some thoughts I had about avoiding career disasters. And let me start by saying that the current economy, at least in the U.S., is chugging along fueled by low interest rates that have punished savers. But overall, the global economy has been struggling. Whereas in 2008, the U.S. was hemorrhaging jobs, there's been a mediocre but pretty consistent job creation occurring. It's nowhere near the number of jobs that were being created pre-2008 or pre the collapse, but nonetheless, there are jobs that are being created. And whereas once jobs boards, let me try that again, where once job boards were the primary way that people were looking for work, now positioning on LinkedIn is as important, if not more so, as well as the quality of your professional network. As one of my guests on Job Search Radio said a while back, 70% of all jobs are filled as a result of networking, and 70% of those 70%, or 49%, were found based upon a relationship that didn't exist at the beginning of your job search. In 2006, I released my first book. It's called Get Yourself Hired Now, and I call it Basic Training for Job Hunting because it's really a very basic book. At that time, branding was an alien concept to job hunters, and to some of you now it may be, but so be it. But incredibly easy to do. You know, branding is very easy to do given current technology tools that are available that didn't exist 10 years ago. But one thing that exists today, one thing that's true today as it did in 2006, is that if you're like most people, you think job hunting is hard, something about as pleasant as going to a dentist or receiving a visit from the Internal Revenue Service. So in 1972, when I was looking for my first job, I applied for a position as an employment agency. I almost didn't because at that time the ad said management trainee, inexperienced preferred. And in fact, I had no experience whatsoever, and I didn't think I was qualified for the job. But I stumbled into the field of recruiting and job hunting and spent more than 40 years seeing what worked in job hunting and what didn't. So Since then, I've spoken to hundreds of thousands of people that I can document, probably over 1 million easily, but I've been able to document about 720,000 people that I've spoken with over the course of time, learning from their experiences, successes, mistakes, and a whole host of other experiences that they've had. They've been my teachers here. So, I'll simply say, for job hunters, there's a number of things that you can do to avoid career disasters. And that's really what this video is about. The things that you can do to avoid the kind of damage to yourself that really puts you behind the 8 ball when you're looking for work. And the first one is, keep your resume up to date. When a good opportunity presents itself to you, you can't wait a week to update your resume and then send it into the search firm or to the company. By then, they've already moved on to other possible submissions, and they'll probably lock you out of the competition. So what I tell people is update your resume every 3 to 4 months, or write a paragraph reviewing your accomplishments during that period. In this way, updating your resume should take no more than 90 minutes, and instead of trying to remember what you did over the course of the last year or two. Next, do the same thing with your LinkedIn profile. Keep it up to date. Resumes are for when you're aggressively hunting, but LinkedIn is for being a magnet for opportunities to come to you. After all, the person who gets ahead isn't always the smartest or work the hardest, although those are great qualities to have. People get ahead by being alert to opportunity. Sometimes they're internal to their organization, more often than not they're external. Third thing to do, cultivate your network. Networking is the most effective way of job hunting. Like I said, 49% of positions are filled as a result of introductions to people you did not know at the beginning of the search. That's, and overall networking filling 70% of jobs, that's more than 2 to 1 over job boards and recruiters. Why not do the kind of legwork in advance of need that allows you to get results pretty quickly if you need to change jobs? Fourth thing to do is start building a success brand. And like I said, the biggest change since 2006 when I wrote my first book was the ability to brand is incredibly easy now. There are more places to speak, to write, to create an impression. You can do podcasts like I do. You can create video. You can do it for YouTube. You can do it for Facebook Live. A lot of different places that you can get information about you out to the world in general. So start doing that. Next thing, pay attention to the tea leaves and read them. Every day, there's another story about workers being laid off from major and small companies around the world. And it's shocking to see how they all seem surprised by the job cuts. Like, no one noticed that those walking into their retail store or buying their employer's products or services. Like, they were oblivious to this. Another thing to do is to practice interviewing regularly, because no matter how experienced someone is, interviewing is an acquired skill. As I've said a million times, the skills needed to find a job, the skills needed to interview for a job are different than the ones needed to do a job. And you need to practice interviewing so that you don't make mistakes that prove so critical, or even if they hire you, whether they can cost you money in the job offer. Another thing to do is to make sure your wardrobe is appropriate for the position you're interviewing for, and it fits properly. I tend to think this is a bigger issue with men. I think with women sometimes it's the hairstyle that becomes damaging to them, that makes them appear old and passé. But no matter, everyone has to have clothes that fit them well. Good enough isn't. If your shirt makes your neck pop out, I'm kind of exaggerating there. If your clothes just don't fit you, if your ties aren't right anymore, it's going to be costly to you. Next, and this is, I think it's a mistake so many people make, and that is they're always thinking of their employer and they're not looking out for themselves. Trust me, your employer really doesn't care if you live or die. You're hired to be a team player, and in fact, you're disposable. I started to remember the movie Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield, where he plays the part of an obnoxious wealthy guy named Thornton Mellon. And the last line of the movie has him saying something like, "It's a jungle out there. You gotta look out for number one, but don't step in number two." And it's a great reminder. You have to look out for yourself. And lastly, hire a coach. Because, frankly, you've got blind spots. There are things that you don't see that a coach can remind you of or encourage you to think about. Athletes, the greats, the semi-greats all have coaches. Entertainers have coaches that help bring out their talent. Why don't you think you need one? Seriously, why don't you need coaching? Don't be foolish and think that you have all the answers. Many of you don't even have the right questions, let alone the right answers. So why would you want to risk being in a situation where you can be exposed? I think constantly thinking of these 9 things will help you be successful, not just simply now, but for years to come. So that's today's show. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, here are a few ways to engage with me. First of all, I just want to start by saying that I no longer do recruiting. I coach people to perform at a high level. So again, I no longer do recruiting. But if you visit my website, which is thebiggamehunter.us, and look at the tabs on the top, you'll see a menu of choices available to you. First of all, you can hire me to do a resume and or LinkedIn profile critique, interview preparation, help you with a salary negotiation, answer your questions about your job search, advise you about a decision you have to make about a job offer. Those are all there as an option. I can do a job search makeover with you, where we critique everything you've been doing in your search up until that point and come up with alternatives. If you're relatively early in your search, we can do a complete coaching program where I work with you from beginning to end in half-hour increments so it doesn't have to take a lot of time for each session. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IN/thebiggamehunter. Mention that you listen to the show because I love hearing from folks who like it and are interested in my help. Again, linkedin.com/IN/thebiggamehunter. You can take my classes on Skillshare too and become a premium member for 99 cents for the first few months. I have a link in the show notes. Just follow that link, sign up, take my classes. Lastly, I want to mention to you, you can find a lot of information at thebiggamehunter.us, and at times it may seem like it's too much. So you can look at the best of my material at JobSearchCoachingHQ.com, where I've curated information that you can watch, listen to, or read to help you find work more quickly. Again, that's JobSearchCoachingHQ.com. I'll be back tomorrow with more, and in the meantime, I hope you have a great day. Take care.
The future of frozen is here. The new Cosmic Culotta at Dunkin'. Far out flavors that are out of this world. Cosmic Cotton Candy and Cosmic Pineapple, both layered with cool blue raspberry. Like a galaxy in your cup. Every sip is an adventure. Now, try any small culotta for $2. Keep the adventure going with the new Comet Candy Donut. It's a vanilla frosted donut sprinkled with cotton candy flavored popping candies for a fun take on a classic flavor. Dunkin's new Cosmic Culotta flavors and Comet Candy Donut are worth the trip no matter how far. The universe runs on Dunkin'. Plus applicable taxes. Participation may vary. Limited time offer. The future of frozen is here. The new Cosmic Culotta at Dunkin'. Far out flavors that are out of this world. Cosmic Cotton Candy and Cosmic Pineapple, both layered with cool blue raspberry. Like a galaxy in your cup. Every sip is an adventure. Now, try any small culotta for $2. Keep the adventure going with the new Comet Candy Donut. It's a vanilla frosted donut sprinkled with cotton candy flavored popping candies for a fun take on a classic flavor. Dunkin's new Cosmic Culotta flavors and Comet Candy Donut are worth the trip no matter how far. The universe runs on Dunkin'. Plus applicable taxes. Participation may vary. Limited time offer.